Hi, gang. Welcome to the second half of my weekly Substack update. So it's August, the traditional paint drying slow season of the year. So it's a really good time to brush up on your skills, get on top of your game, because September's just around the corner. And as I'm making this, we just have one more week to go with the Mercury retrograde. So the last couple of videos I did was with the intraday trading. Today we're going to do something different. We're going to do swing trading with the Gann calendar. First, our standard disclaimer: trading in futures markets are not for everyone. Do your due diligence. And let's get started. Okay. The revelation that I've come up with, some of you, if you've read through my manuals, it's in the playbook, but it's hidden in there. And for a lot of our new people, this is going to be new for you guys. Okay, but this is all price and time square outs. And what we're specifically looking at here are the relationships of highs before higher highs, and it could be the third wave high, the fourth wave down, the fifth wave to the top, and the lows before the lower lows. When those square out, good opportunities get created, but you're just going to have to see for yourself, right? Okay. Now I showed this one in the Substack because it's kind of complicated and I know it's not easiest to see, but basically what we have here is a daily chart of Intel, and what we're looking at is the high before the high. And what we have is we're looking for the difference, okay? We have every day of the year on the Gann calendar. We have another video on that, and we have a whole manual on that. So I'm not going to go over that here. But this particular date is the 185 DG day of the year. This date is the 227. The difference is 42. The price difference is $1.77. Now we're looking for something to line up, and it does, because the price high is $26.43. Now, for those of you who are uninitiated and think that the numbers to the right of the decimal point, the cents holder, doesn't mean anything, in price and time, it could be very navigational and very directional, and throughout all the manuals, I've pointed that out. So that's what we got going on here. But to take this one step further, what we have is a price low of 1851 at the 252 DG day of the year. No, it's actually the 16, check that. It's the 168 DG day of the year, but it's down 252 degrees. And I'll show you that in the next slide, because it's also 176 days down. Now, this is significant because the price of 1851 and the fact that it's 252 down, we've got a 51 DG difference to the 219 day DG day of the year, which leads us to the last high. So all of this stuff is related. So remember this on the next slide, where we look at the fact that this prior leg down is 176 days down. Okay, and this is a daily chart of Intel, if I didn't say that. Okay, so this is the same Intel, but it's the prior sequence. Remember the prior slide was 176 days down? Well, it was actually 176 days down from this peak, which came in on the 276 DG day of the year on the Gann calendar. So in other words, that turns out to be one of my replication flips, because you have the same number at the high as I mean, it's not the same number, but it's the same vibration, 276 at the high, 176 at the low, okay? And this is all, you would never figure any of this out without having the Gann calendar. Okay, so what we have here in this case, we have another situation where the high before the high is 248 DG, the high is 276 DG, the difference is 28 DGs, and the price high is $51.28. Do you guys think that this is a coincidence? I think not. Okay. Now, on this chart of Intel, which is basically a low and a pullback, we have a lot of things going on. And I put this one in the Substack because it's really complicated. So let me just be brief here. Is that this is a daily chart? The low here, absolutely, the low in the entire sequence is on the 149 DG day of the year. That doesn't mean anything right there. Okay? But what we have here, building to the high, is $5.17 down, 16 days up to the high. Now, from the high to the to the lower high is 170 to 200 is 30 DG. Now, the low to the next low, not only is it a buck 49 difference, which lines up with 149 degrees, it's 184 DG to 214. It's 30 degrees, which has perfect symmetry to here. And this price high is $37.22. And the low to the low is 22 days. So I want you guys not only to look at this, but you need to study the implications of it to see how this works so you know what to look for. Now, this one is another sequence. Right. That's right. It is another sequence. So it's a little complicated. But the thing that stands out to me first is that this particular pivot, which turns out to be the pivot before the low, is at the 271 DG day of the year. Now, this entire pattern at the low is 70 days. So do you see the replication? 271, 70, but you have to understand how to put these things together because we have many moving parts, and the only way you can do this is if you're actively studying these symmetries. If you're looking at this for the first time, I could understand why you'd be lost. But let's move on. This low is 271 DG. This high is the 314 DG. It's 43 DG difference. And from the low to the prior low, it's 43 days, which matches this. And the 70 days matches the 271. Now, isn't that amazing? And the thing that really blows my mind is that practically nobody knows that this stuff is going on. And if you will just take the time to look at this stuff, I think you'd get an upgrade. I think, I could say a lot of things, but I don't think many of you have ever seen anything like this before. So you'll look at this. Yeah, it's easy. It's simple to figure out, but it's not easy because you have to track it and understand what you're looking for. And the value of a video like this and the manuals that I have is that they show you exactly what it is you should be looking for. Now, here's IBM. From the high to the top, lower high to the top, 13 days, lower last leg up, 13 degrees, because this is the 190 day, this is the 203 day. Now look at all the 15s on this chart. The price here is 224.15. The low here is 215.80, and it just so turns out that the top comes in on October 15th. So that once again becomes a replication flip. Finally, we have the recent pullback low in Citigroup. And what we have, what I really want to call out here is something a little different, because from the high at 329, we stop and recount at 360. So it's 31 and 17 is 48. And in terms of days, it's roughly 34 days down. Now, on the way up, look at the two important pullbacks. One important pullback ends at 34 days down. The next one ends at 48 days down, which perfectly lines up with the 34 and the 48 of the preceding trend. And folks, that's how price and time squares out. So if you want more information, please visit www.beyondthegoldenspiral.com. You got lots of great manuals, examples, and if you order anything there, use coupon code FIRSTORDER for 10% off. And if you like this video, I'm going to ask you to smash that like button and subscribe so you'll know when more videos come out. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one.